Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. I've got Jay with me tonight, and the main topic is the Fed cut tomorrow, but we will discuss more beyond that. Jay, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself for anyone who might not know
man. Thanks for having me, John. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name's Jace. My name's Jace. Fine, I was about to say my name's Jay, and I'm just co-hosting with John tonight. So thank you for having me, mate.
That's all right. So we're just going to keep the beginning quite light, and then we'll jump into what our expectations are for the Fed cut tomorrow, if we think there is any, and we'll try and look at any data that might support that or any feeling in the market around it. And then I've got a few more things that I've pulled up around market news, and then we'll probably just open it up to any stock discussions, or we'll just start talking about our own stocks or what we've been looking at recently, and just keep it free flowing. We'll probably just be on for around an hour, or as long as Jay can stay on, but I'm aiming to be on for around an hour. But yeah, that's the plan for tonight.
Now let's get into it, mate. Like I say, a lot to go over in regards to the rate cuts and stuff. So let's get into it.
Yeah, so I've loaded up Polymarket, which I know isn't the best, but I like to see what people are saying in terms of the Fed cut. So if I add this to the screen, in terms of a 25 base points decrease tomorrow, 97% think that's going to happen. 3% think it's going to be no change, and 1% think it's going to be a 50 base points decrease. How are you feeling towards it?
So obviously I know I have got the Polymarkets up, but I use the other one as well. So I use the Fed Watch, the CME Groups one. And on that one, obviously, it's an 87.4% chance there's going to be a cut tomorrow and a 12.6% that does not. So I'd say everybody's pretty bullish on the fact that there's going to be a cut for sure. I'm pretty bullish for it. I think there'll be one.
I don't think there'll be one personally.
Okay, why? What's your thought process on that?
I don't think enough has changed in the environment for that to happen, personally. Maybe I'm just being a bit pessimistic, and I'll be happily surprised. But I haven't seen much positive news. I know that a lot of the people on the board are wanting it or pushing for it, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, and what do you think will be the reaction if that doesn't happen? How do you think the markets will react to that?
I think if it doesn't happen, I think there will be a drop, because I think at this point it's priced in, because I think the general consensus is that it is going to happen.
Yeah, agreed.
But yeah, I don't think there will be one. But I'll happily be pleased if there is one. Be interesting to know what people think in the chat.
Yeah, just putting there now, just asking what people think cut or no cut. So I think there will be one. I think he's not really been left with much of a choice really. But I mean, Powell's always been one to go across the way. So it'll be interesting to see. But I think if we don't get a rate cut, that'll be very drastic, and I think the market will see a decent downturn because of that, just simply off momentum.
Yeah, and I do have another question. Do you have any cash on the side if that does happen?
Yeah, so I nobody knows this yet because I don't have to disclose what I do. So yesterday I sold 1,500 shares of Ondas at 970 something, and
right.
I've got cash in the GIA as well. So I would say in the ISA, I've been logged out on my computer for some reason. Yeah, so on my ISA, I'm just having a look now. I've got 20k free just in case. I wanted to make sure I was in a good position. If not, I play double-edged sword on everything.
Yeah, that's fine. And you're just trimming your profits, which is a smart thing to do, really.
Yeah, I mean, I hit 102% up again yesterday and on that, so I thought I'm going to take a little bit off the table. Yeah, I'm still very bullish for it, and I've got still like 8,000 shares in total, I think. But me personally, I think I'm well overexposed to it, so I want to bring some cash back just to be safe. Even though I know I'm positive it's going the best way, it's best to have some cash on the side just in case.
Yeah, I think that's what I want to do actually going into 2026. Is the whole of 2025 I've had no cash sat there.
So that's interesting that you say that. So I'm gonna cut over you a second, because do you remember the stream you and Ben had?
Yeah.
And your thought process was, you and Ben's was the same, was that you prefer both to be in the market fully rather than having cash on the side. So what's changed? Like, why is your mind changed on that?
Because in my strategy, and it's just the way I'm set up, I invest when I get paid every month on payday.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout the month there is a lot of swings, and there's actually been a lot of opportunities I've missed because I've just invested straight away when I get paid. And I think
So
even if
going
I just
for
take 5% of the cash of what I'm putting in monthly and keeping that on the side in case an opportunity arises, I think that's a better position than putting in 100 and missing out on opportunities.
So, for instance, let's say you go, let's say, for instance, you put £100 in a week, hypothetically speaking. Are you saying you're going to hold £5 of that back each week just in case?
Yeah. And I know
That
that
makes
doesn't
sense.
sound like a lot, but percentage wise, I think that's a fair amount to put aside
Yeah,
because
no, it does.
I might not even use that. And that might accumulate for like 3 months if I see no pullbacks in the stocks I want to invest in. So at some point, that will come in helpful.
No, I think you're right. Like I say, I've always been like 10% cash. It's always been a thing that I've liked and wanted to run with. But this year's made it a little bit impossible at times. Especially
Yeah.
like I say, when Ondas dropped back down to 4.5 a share, I was like lapping that up a little bit, bought a bit of that. Even though that's what I mean. I was buying more at 4.5, so now we're at 980 again. Doubling up in what, a month just makes sense to take a little bit off the table, even though I've been in it a lot longer. But doubling that money I literally put in like 2-3 weeks ago, it makes sense to take a bit out. I mean, obviously on the cash ISA, on the invest account as well, I've done the exact same. I've been a lot of cash on that in for a while, but there's a fair few bit of grand there as well. So it's about being smart, isn't it? Not keeping everything all in, but being
It
well over
is.
too exposed to one. I mean, everybody's viewpoint's a little different on this. Some people say it's better to be all invested in one stock, and then others will say no, diversification's key. But personal preference, I like a bit of diversification. So
Yeah. Mine's a little bit diversified. I have also put my targets now on Nebius when I'm going to start trimming some profits, which I hope we
so
see in 2026.
me and you as well, John, we were both quite heavily invested into dividend stocks. Where obviously I came away from dividend stocks this year. While I'm a little younger, I want to be a bit more adventurous, but I do love dividend stocks, and it'll be something that I'll go back into in the future. What's your view on that now in this current market?
Mine is the exact same, but I think we came to the conclusion at different times. So I do have stocks that pay a dividend, but I see more growth in them than the dividend pay itself. And I now think I'm going to invest in solely growth stocks for at least 5 years, build up that portfolio size, and then slowly start rotating in a few dividend stocks as I get a little bit older, because I am younger than you as well. Not to point that out there. So I've got a bit more time to play with the money.
And
Probably start rotating once I've got more responsibilities in my personal life, if I'm honest. Whereas right now I've got nothing. So I think it's fair to attack the growth.
I think attacking the growth right now is definitely right, because it still seems so surreal to me to say that. So, like, I've got £120,000 in my possession. Like, because if 5 years ago someone would have said to me, and we'll touch a lot on this on the Christmas stream when we're all on the Christmas stream together, someone would have said to me in 5 years you're going to have X amount of money, I'd have gone, yeah, whatever. Like, a couple grand, fair enough. But the fact that this year I've been able to make like 3 times my salary
Yeah, that's
and still
crazy.
make my salary. It's like I say, because now when I'm out of Ondas fully, let's say I've got, when I'm fully out of Ondas where I'm at my target, it's like 200 grand profit. So when I get to my target and I'm out of that, when you now put 200 grand, let's say, into a stock and it moves by $1, that's a crazy amount of growth each time now that you experience, and that's nuts. And it's weird to think about, but I mean, it's just numbers on the screen at the end of the day. Just
I
all for
know.
the future, isn't it?
And so I just look at the percentages. So if anyone's got a smaller portfolio size like me, and you're looking at someone's like Jay, and he's got this massive portfolio compared to you, just remember you're focusing on the percentages. It's not about the actual value in your portfolio. Look at that
And to be
percentage return.
fair, it can change just as quick as what it can the other way. Now, I would say partly I got lucky and partly I had very high conviction. Now, the fact of the matter is that that tariff war couldn't have happened at a better time for UK investors and especially for myself. So I put the 20,000 in on April the 10th, I think it is when the reset was. And on the throughout April, everything just crashed. Now, I was picking up Palantir at 70. I was picking up AMD at 70. I was picking up SoFi at 8. I was picking up loads of stuff so cheap. And then literally within 4 months, I'd made like 50 grand. And that was because everybody else was panicking and selling him, but it just didn't really make that much sense to me. BBAI, sorry, I was buying at 2,
Oh
got out at
yeah,
6 or 7.
I forgot you were
Yeah,
invested in that stock.
yeah. It was my baby. That was my first proper, really convicted stock. But yeah, like I say, so I think things can change fast, and it's the same with like tomorrow, for instance. Let's say we don't get a Fed cut, things could drop by 20%, 30%. Now there's different people that attack it differently, and obviously sometimes obviously people get scared, and scared money leaves the market. But if you really know what you hold, you have to ask yourself a question: did your stock change, and did the fundamentals change? Did this change? And if the answer is no to anything, and it's a lot cheaper, then if you were buying it at 10 and now it's 6 and nothing's changed, then you know what I mean? I used an analogy to someone because a lot of people send me voice notes, and somebody sent me a voice note the other day, and there was waiting for a stock to come down, and then it actually hit there, and then they were worried. And I said to him, if you went to the shop and milk was £1, and you bought your milk all the time, it was £1, and then you went the following day and it was 30p, you're probably going to buy 2 bottles before it goes back up to £1. And then if you walked out of the shop and someone said, "Oh, I'll buy that off you for £2," you're going to sell it at £2, aren't you? And that's
Yeah,
exactly the same analogy with stocks, really. If you get it at a discounted price, but it's still the exact same product you was buying for more than it, you know what I mean? Max, it's a no-brainer.
yeah.
That's how my brain works. I hope that makes sense.
I like that analogy. I'm gonna regurgitate that next time someone says something like that. That's quite good. I've got a different question for you then, just to loop back around to dividend a little bit. If you were still dividend investing, what do you think your portfolio size would have looked like now?
Well, let me have a look at the pie and let me see how it was growing, and then we can get a rough estimation. So I'll still keep the pie because the exact same stocks I was in, I will invest in again in the future, probably. I love dividend stocks, I do. I think they're class. I think
Yeah,
they're good to look into every time the earnings come out. Now, in 3 months, oh, sorry, there we go. Oh, so the max. So when I was in dividends between September the 1st, when I started dividend investing, up until, oh no, that chart ain't reading properly. Oh no, okay. So, but when I was in dividends, it's telling me that I made 25.5%. And I was in that for about 12 months on trading 2 on 2 because I switched apps. So still to make 25.5% in like a year, I'd say is well above my target because my goal, mental goal, is I want 10% a year. And anything above that's great. And obviously this year's been a year that's hard to not earn money, full stop. And I think where we at this year. So this year alone in the whole portfolio, I think we're up, yeah, 219%.
wow. I saw it
So
for 20
obviously,
years.
yeah, but that's that, and this is a bit where it's scary as well about the market because that's not going to happen every year. It's just
No,
not. And people that are new to investing now, it's like I see people jumping in on das now on the 2 on 2 community because I'm
you've
basically the
ruined
only
that.
person. I'm sorry. And people are getting in at 9, and then when it drops to 7, they're getting really upset. And I'm thinking it's grown 1,000% this year. Just because you got in at 9 doesn't mean it's going to grow another 1,000%. It's already grown 1,000%, and that's where you have to analyze and you have to realize that stocks just don't. Not every stock moves like that.
No.
Here's a good
Uh,
one for you while you're on it, because I've got a question for you. What's your view on Meta? I see everybody talking about Meta and everyone buying Meta. What's your view on it?
I've not looked into them enough to know. I know they had
Okay.
that massive drop, and
Mhm.
I was meant to look into it. I didn't look into it, so I don't actually have an opinion on them.
Okay, let me ask you another question. If you've got, I think Meta's like, how much is Meta? Like 600 quid a share or something?
I think it's back
Is that
up to
what it is?
650 now.
Okay, so let's say
656.
650. So if you've got 650, how much is it? 656. So you've got $656, yeah?
Yep.
Are you buying one share of Meta that might go up by $30 by year end? Or are you buying 656 shares of, oh, sorry, let's say 330 shares of Hive? That's at $2, for instance. That might go to 6 by the thing and get more money. What are you doing? Because I see people buying up Meta, but for me, Meta's a safe stock, whereas it's more not
I
growth
would
stock.
go Hive because of the way my portfolio shifted. If I was building a stable portfolio that would get dividends, then it would be the Meta one. But I'm not. Like you say, if it's going to move $30, what's that in percentage for the stock? Like 5%?
Whereas if you go into, let's say, Hive and it went up 5% as well, you're going to get a lot more because you've got a lot more volume of shares. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, yeah, I'm glad we're on the same point. There, I had a conversation with someone at work earlier. That was all, and I was having that
I love,
conversation.
I love it how you discuss it at work. I've got a few more things related to the Fed cut.
Mhm.
Have you seen that Trump has asked if the Fed chair will be expected to lower interest rates immediately, and his answer was yes.
So this is another funny thing because everyone keeps reading this, and I think this is a very good thing. And Will did this from the Discord, one of the mods, absolute geezer. Other than the fact he said Messi's better than Ronaldo, he basically showed me this guy called Paul Donovan, and he releases a like voice note newsletter every morning. And I listen to it every day at work now, not on the way to work. It's about 4 minutes long every morning, and he makes very, very good points. He works for Global Wealth Management or something. He works for something. I can't remember. It's on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, and like he said, Trump can't necessarily pick the next Fed. He has to be voted in, but he obviously has the Senate on his side because it's more their side. So they're obviously more likely. But yeah, there's still a lot more hurdles to jump through before it's like, yeah, that's who our Fed chair is going to be.
Yeah. I think a lot of people forget how much bureaucracy there is to change something like that, or for the successor to be chosen.
Just for anyone that is watching, they are interested in that. It's Paul Donovan, and it's he's a chief economist, and it's UBS Wealth Management. So if you want to go look at that, it's very knowledgeable. Oh, you listen to it every morning. Will showed it me, to be fair.
You showed it to me months ago as well, I think.
Solid, man. It shows some good stuff, and he'll talk about stuff that you don't even factor into your brain, like the surplus of cash that's happening in China at the minute, and why it means that the trade deals that US are trying to put on them actually isn't affecting them as much, which then in 3 months might mean that the trade deal falls through, and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? You have to benefit all that in, and you have to try and be ahead of the game. Like, look at we was with Ondas, was ahead of the game, with a lot of stuff, because you have to think 6 months ahead, 12 months ahead, more than just thinking next week.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of people fall down as well. On exports/imports, have you seen, obviously, I'm sure you've seen the news about chips can now be exported to China, but China have now put on a restriction that the companies buying them have to give a reason on why they're not buying domestic products.
So I didn't see that part, but I've seen the other part. So it's again, it's a give to get. Trump's a businessman, isn't he? But it's adding fuel to the fire all the time. And them chips are 6 months behind now, aren't they, or something like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I seen something last night or something. So they're like 6 months behind anything else. So it's almost as if he's gone, let us get ahead a little bit with the next one, and then you can have the old one, and then so on. We're going to keep giving you our older chips, so we're always ahead, which I guess is smart. I mean, if you own the best tech, you sort of don't want your arch enemy, even though you're acting to be trade friends. You don't want them to have the same stuff as you do.
Yeah, that is quite smart. I've got another little thing that's off topic. So
you can show. I was about to say you can show them on the screen, Kai, when you.
Yeah, I don't need the screen for this though. Don't worry. So Jay might have mentioned before that we're doing a charity live stream around Christmas, and this is just my little promo to make sure you get this in your calendar. So Sunday, 21st of December, there's me, you, Ben, is Will on there, Jordan on
Will's
there.
on there, yeah. Jordan's on there, yeah.
Brad on there.
Brad should be on there, yeah.
We're going to be raising some money for live stream. I think Jay's picked a charity, but make sure you get that in your calendar because it's going to be a fun night, and yeah, it's just going to be a good little warm up for Christmas, isn't it?
You
just wanted to sneak that one in there.
Mate, that's class, man. We're all gonna have to do something like that. That's class. That's epic, man. And that's what it's about, man. It's about having a laugh, getting people to laugh. And like I say, we've raised nearly, I think, 500 already for it. Let's have a look.
That was the target as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've still got things to put in there as well. What can I find on here?
Yeah, I've still got stuff to put. I've got it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, like I say, I'm keeping some back for when
£459. So we're already 91% of the way to the goal. Lovely beer, thank you. And it's just raising money for Social Bite, which is to help homelessness.
Yeah, and that's it's like I say, I was speaking to one of the fundraiser guys the other day, and basically that's they can sort a dinner for a family, but like an individual dinner for £5 each, basically. So effectively, when we've done £500, we've done 100 dinners. I think that's what it works out. Is my math right? 100 dinners. 10. Yeah, so 100. Yeah, so it'll be
100 families get dinner.
Yeah, that's what I mean. 100. Yeah. So each individual's a £5. That's what I mean. Yeah. So
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, so my head was all over it then. Yeah, so we'll get 100 dinners if we hit the target for families. That's 100 people that we can give dinners to. That, you know what I mean? It's a small little gesture to give back. There's people out there that are struggling. Families are struggling. We're all making tons and thousands and stuff. Like I say, I've got more money to put in there still. Yeah, I put £100 when it started, and I'll put 10 in the other day. I'm going to probably put another 100 or so quid in, or probably even a little bit more when it comes close to it. I just didn't want to top out the target by myself straight off the bat.
Should be a good evening though. So make sure you get that in your diary and come along. Not sure how much we'll talk about stocks on that live stream.
No, we'll probably touch on everything still. We'll have a laugh. We'll have a chat. I think I'm gonna set some questions up, which I'll send over. I want to know. We're going to share each individual's goals for next year, what we learned the most this year, how our investing strategies will be next year. We're all gonna touch a little bit because we're all so different. That's the best thing about it. Like, we're all so different, but we've all got the same goal. I mean, if all 5 of us that were going to be on there, you put us into a room and into a pub, sorry, none of us, it's probably me and Brad might speak to each other because we're from local areas. So the date of that stream's the 21st, isn't it, John? That's the last Sunday before Christmas.
Sunday the 21st.
Yeah, like that. So that one it'll be on my channel, but obviously we'll all interlock it between everybody. So and obviously co-stream and put it on everybody's channels after. But yeah, it'll be a good couple hour stream. We'll jump on normal time, 8 p.m. on a Sunday. Might do it a little earlier, to be fair, so we get even longer. But yeah, it'd be good. And obviously we can go over a lot of things because, again, like I said, there's so different people. Because from me to you to, like, me, you and Brad are probably, no, it's just me and Brad are quite close in the same essence. You and Ben are, Jordan and Will and us are completely all different, but we're all from different upbringings, different areas. Obviously, other than me and Brad, we live next to each other, but well, close to each other. But so
yeah,
it was interesting meeting the fact that I met Brad in real life as well. Good lad, to be fair.
I know there's no one near for me, I don't think.
No, and I'm obviously, like, next year, be obviously looking about doing a meetup and stuff. Probably making it like an overnight event or something. Gonna get some options and see what people prefer and see how we go from there. Beast just put legend in the chat. I don't know if you got the Discord open, but
oh yeah.
what else did you have to touch on then, John? What we're looking at, what we got?
So I've got some more. Is it the Kobayashi letter?
Oh, can't say it, but yeah. Kobayashi or Kobayashi or something.
There's a couple of tweets that I've got from them that I found quite interesting. Then I've gone to cover some of the Nebius news as well. Because there's been some news on Nebius.
But click the photo.
Oh, right. That's quite smart. So the US car affordability crisis, it's been called, is worsening. So the average price of a new car is now $50,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So since 2020, the average amount financed on a new vehicle has risen 28%. And then the total auto debt jumped to a record high of $1.56 trillion. So Americans are now borrowing more.
I seen something about this the other. So I seen something about this the other day, and they're doing something about making small cars in America now. I'll have to get the exact facts, but they're trying to do something so more small cars are made in America to help against this.
All right, okay. I think I've seen something about that where Trump is just saying we will build small cars or something.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I think they're trying to come up with a solution to the plan, to the problem.
Okay, that's quite proactive from the government. I have to go full screen. And then the other one was total consumer credit surged to a record of 5.08 trillion. Revolving credit, which includes credit cards, jumped by a further 5.4 billion, which is the highest since November 2024. I don't know what the difference is between revolving credit and non-revolving credit. I don't know if you're aware.
Mainly auto and student loan. So one, it tells you there, John. It tells you.
Oh, have I just?
Yeah, so one's mainly auto. That's cars and student loans, and that one's more credit cards.
Right,
and
okay.
I'm getting normal loans. Meanwhile, the average credit card interest rate remains near its all-time high of 22.8%. That's so to have that type of rate in the UK, it's quite a bad credit to have that. Now, when obviously a few years ago, before I got my stuff together, when I first got my first credit card back, it was 30% APR, and that was when I had a terrible credit score. I was at 18, 19. So I was a little actually about 20. So the fact that the average is 22.8% shows that the average credit person in America is
Yeah,
pretty
that's
high, to be honest.
well. If I'm being brutally honest, I've got one credit card, and I'm pretty sure the interest rate on that's 33%. So maybe I need to
That's a lot.
review
That
that.
is.
Is it?
I think my Amex is quite high, so that's. I mean, I don't use them to be fair, but my Amex
Yeah.
is quite. I've got two that I've got, and I don't use them. I use my Amex day to day to get the points and then pay it off. My Amex is like 20 something percent, I think, but my NatWest one's like 6.
Oh, right.
But
Okay.
but in all fairness, like I say, I've learned lessons from earlier in life. I don't use credit cards. I only use I only use credit cards for like food shopping, fuel, and stuff, and then pay it off straight away on my Amex card. I don't use a credit card for, like, let's say I'm going for buy new trainers or stuff like that, because if I haven't got the money for it, I shouldn't be buying it.
Yeah,
In my
mine's the
opinion.
exact same. I mean, I did fall down a hole of at uni. I was meant to do it to build a credit score. At uni, I didn't do that. But I mean, I think I made a video on this.
I was about to say, because you've just got yourself clear of any debt, haven't you?
Yeah, in September. So now I'll only use my credit card like once a month to put a payment on there and pay it straight off. So there's like still payments going through it because that appears to be working for my credit score.
No, definitely. That's what it's about. It's about, like I said, just staying on top of stuff. I think everybody has to go through necessarily shit credit control before you actually understand how to use money properly. Because, like I say, when I was younger, I was getting a loan, buying quad bikes, and I was having this, and I was racking up very accounts, and next thing you know, it was a big hole, and everything went south. And I sat down one day and thought, this has got to change. And it took me a few years to get on track and obviously get everything clear. But yeah, happy days, man. And nowadays, I don't even have car insurance on a monthly thing. I pay that outright.
I thought you were just going to stop there.
Yeah, so
I don't have car insurance.
So obviously, for me, the only thing that I have as a bill is obviously your monthly bills that you pay at your house, obviously your gas, your electric, etc., and my phone bill. Really, other than that, I haven't got any direct debits, and that's why recently, when I was out of work for 2 months or so, when I was having some drama with my company that I was working for, I had no worries because I built a nice safety part. My stocks didn't have to get touched, and I was still investing. I was still buying into the market whilst having no job.
Yeah,
which is funny. Which is funnier now because we'll share that on the stream real quick, John. That's a good one. So I got an offer from them today. They wanted to settle, and they tried to offer me £2,800 to settle for the unlawful dismissment. I sent them one back by 60 saying,
"Is that
and that
would that even be 2 months worth of salary?"
It's not. No, that's 1 month's worth of salary where I used to be pre-tax. That is pre-bonus, pre-tax.
Yeah, I would not be settling for that.
No, that's what I mean. So I sent because I sent one in saying I wanted a year's, and they sent one back saying a month. But obviously, if it went to court, they get screwed, man. So, but yeah, at least they're accepting the fact that they're in the wrong. Else, I won't be offering a penny, would they?
Yeah, true. Well, best of luck with that. Next, we'll move on to Nebius news. I don't know if you've seen it. Around the actually, you would have because 3 people put the tweets in. Yeah, I was about to do it, and I seen there'd already been 2. So Nebius has acquired 398 acres in Missouri with plans for an AI data center campus, which could deliver around 800 megawatts of capacity. And this will be the first data center in the US that they fully build and operate itself.
Which is really good for margins.
Yeah. Just trying to see if there's anything else. City officials previously lost out on 4 large projects due to insufficient power, which is why they recently approved a $2 billion power generation plan. So really, they're not going to let this one slide if they've already lost 4.
And that's why there it says Nebius is evaluating a power purchase agreement tied to that second phase, meaning that once that gets approved and they say, let's say we're getting, I don't know, how much milliwatts of energy or whatever, Nebius will already, before they even have a building there, have a percentage of that power ready for their data center. So they'll own a percentage of that power. That's what they're trying to do anyway.
Yeah, that's quite good. They envision this comes online in 2027. But like you say, I think that's really good news because the margins, considering it'll be fully built and fully operated by themselves, means that the margins are going to be higher. which is better for the bottom line and better for us.
Something I heard you say. Did you say you was taking some profits off Nebius now, or what did you say you was doing?
I've got a target for when I start trimming some profits.
And what's that target for you?
It's 180.
See, this is the problem with me. So my PT for year end, not my selling target, but my price target I had in mind was between 80 and 100, which obviously we're nearly there. Oh no, yeah, no, 83.99, I think it was. I put it in my last video. Now that doesn't mean I was going to sell them, but that's why I thought it was going to be there. Now I think, in my opinion, it will be at 200 by end of next year. But the problem is, I don't know if I'd even sell because I think in a few years, I think it's just going to be massive. I think it's going to be one of the biggest data centers out there. I think it's really going to be up there with like top 5 of in the big names. You know what I mean? I generally think it's going to be that way. Maybe I'll take some at 200, maybe, but I like with all of my stocks, it's like, yeah, when it hits here, I'm going to sell, or it's hit here and it's going to sell. When it hit 135, I had nothing even said to me, oh, let's sell a couple of this. Like, I just don't want to sell it.
Yeah, I think it could change, but that's what I've set right now. I think it will be the first one where I trim profits from for a while. Yeah, I do agree it's going to be one of the biggest ones in the AI space. But there's going to be other opportunities that I'm going to want to take advantage of. And I think this is currently my biggest holding. So for me, it makes sense to trim from my biggest holding for now. But yeah,
it makes sense. And like I said, there's nothing, and this is where everybody's paths are different. You've got to take your profit. You've got to take stuff off the table. You've got to trim. You've got to do what suits for you. And I know there was someone in Ben's chat that was asking, "Oh, when do you guys buy your stocks?" And I said to him, like, everybody's different. So you've got to understand that your own plan and your own way. You can't follow everybody else because everybody else ain't going to be there forever for you to follow. So you've got to learn to do it yourself.
Completely. Seeing what else have I got? That's more Fed stuff. We've gone past that. I was actually going to discuss. So you brought up Meta. I was going to look at their price recovery. Because also, I don't know if you've seen, Duolingo's apparently gone back over $200 a share.
I've seen a few people talking about that. A lot of them own it in the Discord, don't they?
Yeah, so Duolingo alone, that's up nearly 15% this week. And really, I was going to ask you, do you think the drops of the likes of Duolingo and Meta were an overreaction? Do you think they were warranted? Or do you think the overall optimism of the market has turned around since then drops have happened, which has caused them to rebound a little?
I think a lot of the drops that have been happening lately on stocks without the fundamental changes are overreaction. I think the problem is with today's market and generation and just in general, I think there's so much scared money in the market. And I think I think there's millions of people in this market that think you can just make money overnight. And the moment something goes down by 3%, I think the world's ended. And I think you see a lot of that in the community on trading 212 because you see some people and like, why is his stock down today? And it's like, mate, it's down 2%. Like, what do you mean? Do you say that when it's up 2%? Why is this up 2%? No, you don't. You go, oh yeah, this is great. But yeah, I just think there's a lot of scared money in the market nowadays. And it is crazy though, because one tweet can change everything.
Yeah.
Look at, I mean, look at when, for instance, Elon and Trump was having a Twitter beef, which had nothing to do with the market. Nothing. It was to do with each other. Now the market went down overnight by like 10%, and then it rose back up the next day. But what the hell has two people on Twitter having an argument got to do with the fact of Apple stock?
Yeah. It was crazy. Like when I first started investing in 2020, 2021, like nothing like that happened in terms of the stock market reacting that quickly. Now I was in penny stocks back in them days, so I know exactly the sort of reactions that people have when things drop even 1%. But yeah, it's crazy to see how the market's changed in 5 years. Maybe it's always been like this, and I just wasn't in it deep enough to know. But it definitely wasn't like this, surely.
I don't like that. I think when there's a valid reason for it to happen, it makes total sense. But I think when it's like stuff like tweets and stuff like that, it don't make sense. But normally people don't see the bigger picture in the background as well of what's actually going on and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I think a lot of it was an overreaction, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm going to move on to a stock that I've got two stocks I'm going to look into, and I'm going to see if I'm going to ask you if you've looked at them before. I'm not going to look at them on the live stream, but I will be looking at them over the next couple of weeks. So the
Chuck 'em up.
first
Let's have a
one
look.
is Upstart. Have you ever heard of Upstart?
Yeah, I've actually, if I'm completely honest with you, I actually watch these each time they do earnings. Now, aren't they like they do like a lot of? I'm not sure of the actual business, but they do a lot of the venture capital type stuff. Where
Uh,
they do,
I'm not sure about that side. The way I would describe them is, so do you know what Lemonade is? The AI
I've heard of
insurance.
it, but I haven't ever looked into it. Yeah.
So they give out insurance policies and they have like an AI model that does all the calculations and stuff. Upstart does loans, but they have an AI model
Oh, okay.
that calculates all the risk and calculates how much you should be loaning out and the return and everything like that. The venture capitalist side, if that is a thing, I wasn't
No,
aware of
that
that.
might be the side that I was reading. I've seen about the loans. Like I say, I haven't done any proper DD into or anything. I just see them every time that they do earnings. They seem to do it around stocks that I'm already paying attention to. So I'll see their earnings coming in. So I've seen it a few times. But I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like they've had a bit of a rocky year. Like it looks like it went up and down, up and down. What's going on?
Yeah, so from my quick glance, it looks like the model hasn't been as efficient this year in the loans that it's been offering in terms of the return for the company compared to the last year. Um, but I was discussing this on a TikTok live stream. I'm just going to quickly get it up. I think the revenue has dropped like over the years. If it's a stock I'm thinking of, oh no, it's still up. Yeah, but revenue growth, like the last 3 quarters, 59%, 90%, 65%. Still operating at a loss, but the last 2 quarters have been profitable. So really, it could be on the cusp of becoming profitable for a full year for the first time in 2 quarters.
Okay, so my question on that is a little bit: if you're looking at Upstart at 46, doesn't SoFi at 26 look better?
That's the thing. I've never looked into SoFi, so that would be part of the due diligence. You're invested in SoFi, aren't you? Or were you invested?
Yeah, no, I am. Yeah, yeah. See,
So
I find it hard to buy SoFi now because my PT is 35. That's my PT. Look, I'll take most off the table there and then let it run. The rest, I'll probably run a couple hundred shares. But um, in my opinion, like I say, I was buying it at 8 and 13 and 12 and 10. So for me, I find it hard to buy it at these prices when my PT is 35, considering the fact that my gains on these now are a lot bigger.
yeah,
So yeah, let me pull it up real quick. At the moment, I'm currently sitting at 95% growth. I don't know if that's going to show on there. If it's going to see clear enough.
but I can maximize the screen. There we are.
There we go. Yeah.
96%. Just
So
jumped
to
up.
sit at 96% and I was buying it and I got an average of like 13. It's hard. I seen it as valuable then because I seen it going to 35 at 26 to 35. It just I don't want to be. I don't know. I feel like there wasn't enough growth there for me when I was buying it at such a cheap price. I've still got 600 shares, so I'm just in no more rush. I think it's still a good price at this price, and I think, I mean, if you zoom out on the weekly, is it or the monthly? Let's have a look at the weekly. So if you look at that, where was it before the weekly at the top before dilution? What 29.98? So we've had dilution there. That people seem to think dilution is the end of the world in today's market. I
Which
think
is
that's
not.
something people need to understand actually as well. Dilution in this market is normal. If the market is booming at its strongest and rate cuts are coming down and stuff and stuff like that, I mean, dilutions, if you're growing your business, makes sense. Yeah, I mean, what's your view on that?
So I think obviously depending on what they're using it for, is a big point. But I do agree, dilution's not the end of the world, but you've got to have trust in what they're going to use it for. If they're just diluting to stay alive as a company, then
That's bad.
that's the big red flag. But if they're diluting to expand, if they've got a clear long-term vision plan of expansion and that money is going to help us, then it is the best thing for your stock price.
Now, Will's 24K Will there in your chat says is SoFi still a buy. So if I'm a new investor getting into SoFi, I would buy at these prices because of where I see it going. Do I see SoFi going past 35? Yes. I think it'll go much further than 35. But my price target from when I got in at 12, at 18, 12, 9, 8, 7 was my price target was 35. So when we get to 35, I'll take some profit off the table. I'll take probably 400 shares and left 200 to run because I do see it going further. But it's important that you stick to, you have a plan from day one, and you can reevaluate the plan. But it's important you stick to some of your plans. Otherwise, you just, because greed can eat you alive, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Upstart is what I'm going to look at. And then the other one is what I've been thinking for a while, but Netflix. And it's definitely been pushed to the front of my mind with that Warner Brothers acquisition that's possibly going to happen.
Where is Netflix now? I haven't even looked. I've just been looking at all the drama. I think it's funny.
Let me get it up. So it's $96 a share. They've done that. They've done the stock split.
I was just about to say, wasn't it like 1,000 a share? So
yeah,
what?
They've done a 10-to-1 stock split.
So we're theoretically sitting at 960. So
yeah, that's the way I'm looking at it.
That's dropped by 40 points then since 3 quarters ago. Where was it on the yearly?
On the yearly.
That peak, you see that peak there? That's the one.
So it must have been 1,300.
It's a bargain, then, isn't it?
That's what I'm thinking. If this does go through,
I didn't know. No, I forgot they've done a 10-to-1 split. I might have to start looking at Netflix.
Hello, Leo.
I don't like buying expensive shares. I'll just be honest. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like it. That's why they've done it.
When there's something like the shares like $600 a share, like I don't want none of that.
No,
I don't want to.
So yeah,
Leo, welcome, mate. Welcome.
Netflix, with a lot of the property they're going to be buying, I think it's a no-brainer if that goes through. I did see something on Twitter. I'll have to dish it out and probably share it again. But it's on. Apparently, Warner Bros. Have to pay them $2 billion if they pull out the deal. Netflix has to pay them $2 billion if they pull out the deal. And it's something to do with the market competition. Even if Netflix absorb them, I think they're still only the third highest in the market and have around 13% market share. So in terms of like taking a monopoly or duopoly of the market, it's not actually as high as what people might be thinking. But obviously Netflix is this huge name. Everyone knows them. You think, oh, streaming is the biggest thing now. They're going to have such a big margin of the market. They don't actually have that big.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think Netflix is like a no-brainer really in what they're trying to create. I mean, you've got the wrestling there now. You've got, for me though, I think Amazon Prime still has the edge because I think they've got like they've got all the powers. They've got Paramount, and they've got Paramount on Netflix.
Yes.
I think so on
Amazon.
So I think me personally, I have an Amazon Prime. I don't have a Netflix account. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them.
I've got both.
In today's day and age, you don't need any subscription, do you? That's the problem.
Yeah.
So it's one of them. And Netflix is the problem is with Netflix is I just don't feel like there's. I don't feel. I use it ever. I used Amazon Prime all the time. I use my Prime daily to order shopping, and then I can go downstairs and watch Power and stuff that I want to watch. Whereas on Netflix, I just didn't really find there was enough that I would be watching. But again, they raised their fees, didn't they, as well?
Yeah, and then obviously so did Amazon, didn't they? They put in the tier for the adverts. This is where I come from the flip side of you. So I use Amazon Prime for like packages and whatnot. And I do watch Prime, but what really bugs me is I'm subscribing to Amazon Prime, but what do you mean I've got to pay another subscription to watch Paramount, or I've got to buy certain films? That's what I like about Netflix. Once you're in. Everything's there for you.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I mean,
that might change.
Will's just said in your chat he's got YouTube Premium. Now that's something I've never had or tried, but one thing I do like about YouTube TV, but I think it's too expensive. They've got, is it CBS News or whatever it is, after the market, when the market closes and that?
Yeah, I think it's CBS.
Yeah, and it's like when the market closes, and that's class, man. And I wish we could just get access just to that, but you have to buy YouTube TV to get it.
Right, okay. I did use YouTube Premium when I was a student. You get the music included, I believe.
How does that work though? Does it work like Spotify where you'd have to close the app? I mean, you can close the app.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the same subscription across 2 apps.
Okay.
So it's quite good.
No, that's fair enough. I mean, Netflix does look more like a buy, but after the split, really. But it's one of them, man. It depends on whether that deal goes through or whether Paramount get it. But
I know. And then I'm also going to have to look into the Warner Brothers balance sheet to see what they're really taking on, because I think they have quite a lot of debt. And they own TNT Sports, which Netflix could be getting, and that seems to be passed around by a few broadcasters in the last several years. So no one seems to want that asset. But Netflix is trying to expand their offering into live sport. So that's a foot in the door.
Like I say, that's one of the things you need to have nowadays, and I think that's where Sky has a huge edge on everything and stuff like that. Just get so much. You get the F1, you get the. I mean, I don't watch tennis, but you get the tennis, you get the golf, you get the football, you get the boxing. I mean, well, actually, the boxing now there's lots of it's on that DAZN in it or whatever.
Yeah, DAZN's
They're
quite
the biggest
good.
con company ever. They are. They're trying to lock you into contracts after buying watching one fight.
I watch them for the basketball. It's free.
Yeah, told me when I had bought a membership to watch one fight, tried to cancel it, said, nah, you got to have it for a year now. I said, no, they said, yeah, you have. I said, I can. I went to my bank and cancelled it and never got another penny out of me.
That's backed by Saudi money, isn't it?
Yeah, it's annoying, man. Try to tell me I've got to do something. I just want to watch one fight.
Fair enough.
Yeah, you get YouTube music included, so it's basically £5 for YouTube Premium. Yeah, I want the YouTube TV, though. That's what I want.
Is that different?
Yeah, I think so.
Nah.
Yeah, so one of you guys, Will's, just asked about a couple of companies there, John.
Yeah, I was about to move on to that. Curious if you guys have any opinions on Delo, Dual, Snore, or Twilio. I think that's Twilio.
What's Snow?
Oh,
Snowflake. Okay. That's not bad.
I don't actually know what Snowflake is.
It's it's in the S&P 500, and that's why I know what it is. And so it's TWLO. TWLO.
That's Twilio, so they're like an SMS provider.
Okay, these all S&P 500 companies, I'm assuming. Oh wow, Twilio insiders sold shares worth 129 million, according to a recent SEC thing. It's sold 1 million shares.
Wow.
Oh damn.
Director.
That don't look good, does it?
I wonder if it was pre-planned and pre-announced.
Morgan Stanley raised the price on it from 152 to 154. So that one's not bad.
I'll
tell you what,
the Twilio contract at work.
Yeah,
I do.
So
my experience with Twilio is pleasant in a B2B environment. Duolingo, I think, is an interesting one. I can't remember why they dropped. Was that due to reduced bookings or something like that? But I think people are scared that AI is going to take over everything, but they've now started incorporating that into their platform. And what you get from Duolingo, you're not going to be able to replicate in the likes of ChatGPT or something. And I think they've also got rid of a lot of their workforce for agents. So I think the way Duolingo is moving is it's keeping up with the market and innovation, which is, I think, it's going to benefit their margins. And I think a lot of the short-term fear is around the fact that other AI models could take over it. But if they start incorporating that now, like they are, that just keeps them best placed in the market to be the go-to language learning provider. That's my thoughts.
I'm just looking at some of their options data now. So their put to call ratio is really low. It's 0.36, which means for every 3 calls, there's 1 put, which is good. They're open. They did 8,000 contracts today.
Is this Duolingo?
Yeah. Just looking at some of their stuff on Webull. Webull reached out to me today. Actually, they want to do a partnership.
Unreal.
So, pretty cool. They're all coming
in.
Today they had more outflow on Duolingo than inflow in the options. A lot of that was it was quite mixed actually. So institutions, they sold off 19.46%, but they loaded up on 17%. And the rest was where retail sold off 6.79%, but they bought up 5.05%. So yeah, more outflow today on Duolingo than inflow, but that's it. But obviously there is a bit of a call wall as well, so there's a lot of shares on the way down. So yeah, it looks pretty good in that sense. So,
good.
Yeah.
I need to pick up options. That is one of my targets for 2026. I'll start to look more into trade action. D-Law, I don't know if you've heard of D-Law. I'm pretty sure Will has mentioned this a lot in the Discord. It's a payment processing platform. It allows international and local cards, bank transfers, direct debit, cash, and alternative payment methods.
So again, just looking at their options, their put to call ratio is 0.27, which is really low. That means for every 4 calls, there's 1 put. There's 360 calls on the 20.47 strike price, which means that people are buying up the fact that they want it to hit 20, which is bullish. Basically, it means they think, obviously, if it's 20, it's 20 and premium. So it means like 23 onwards or whatever. So that's good. And the order flow, there was a lot more inflow today than outflow. Toots loaded up on 10%. They'd sold off 7%. And individual investors as well, retail loaded up 23.66%, with only selling off 16.65. So yeah, Duolingo must have ended up higher today, I believe. Or well, at least that says it should have anyway. Did it look for the day? Oh yeah, up 2.3% for the day. There you go.
Do you feel like you get a lot out of looking at that? No options.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because it's actually how the market works, to be fair.
Yeah.
Common shares are more, it's a bit more like if you was a factory, you've got the guys on the floor who do the hard work, which are your shares, your common shares, and then you've got the people in the office that make the business run, which is the options. That's the best way to describe it.
All right, okay.
I come up with these analogies on the spot, mate. So on the news, so 6 hours ago, dLocal and Uno expand partnerships to streamline global payments in emerging markets. That's trending. So that's what's good about this as well. Johnny, have you used Webull before?
I haven't, but you've showed me it. I'm happy for you to share your screen though, so you can show.
Yeah, let me show you real quick, and then you can see why it's such a good thing. This is obviously I'll pay for the level 2 order book. There you go.
There we go.
So obviously, when we're on here, we're looking at the options. We can see the strike price up here. So as you can see, there's more calls in than there is puts, which the puts are down here. So people think obviously it's going to. Oh, that's the volume. People think it's coming down to 1347. Obviously, there's a bit of puts there, but obviously these are buying it up. And obviously, the good thing I like about this is if you click news, it's all the news look from the top search. And obviously up here, look, we can see dLocal and Uno expand partnerships to streamline global payments. And obviously, you can listen to the news, you can look at it, and obviously, should you think dLocal have a new partnership and a 15% drop? So, like, I mean, simply Wall Street and stuff. So, there's a lot of stuff on here. When you start looking at like Ondas, for instance, you look at options, look at the strike price around 10, look at that 33,000 contracts. So that means that on contracts we've got 33,000. So 33,000, and you have to times that by 100. That's 3.3 million shares on a 10 strike price. And there's another 23,000 contracts and 20,000 contracts. Look at all these strike prices here.
Yeah.
So then all these puts here, which is 8.1 thousand puts there. So that's a lot of shares sold short as well. So you've got all these start having to be forced to get bought the more and more this runs up. That's why we're seeing such a run up, because of these strike prices here. And obviously, as you can see here, volume put to call ratio 0.17. That's so low. But it's because they have a big share float. When we look at order flow, so Toots bought 29.41 but sold 29.74, so a slight outflow. And then medium and small is retail and small funds, and retail bought more today than they sold in both aspects. So retail bought more today, and Toots sold a little bit more off, but so meant that the inflow finished the day up, which then if you look back at the chart, it'll reflect in the chart. We finished 2.33% up for the day. Oh, so
yeah, that does look good.
Options play a bigger part than what people think, to be fair.
Cheers, guys. That's all right, Will. I guess I'll wait for your Webull partnership to possibly come to fruition and use that discount to get subscribed, hopefully.
It's quite cheap, to be fair. I think it's like £6 a month or £5 a month or something.
Which is quite
this
cheap.
order book here is so OP, because you can see even after hours now, if someone wanted to get this stock down to 879, they've got to sell 115,000 shares through that call wall. Now, if we wanted to in after hours to get this moving up, what we got to do really is buy 42,549 shares, and we'll be at 10 in after hours.
Oh wow. Yeah,
So
this is
that's
going to be
something you
very
can.
useful when I start option trading.
Yeah, and now even just in general, if you load up and it's earnings in the midday, and you load up this, you can see this wall. I mean, let's have a look at Google's. Look at Google's. You can see this wall in after hours. For me to get this to move up to 319, I've got to buy 4K shares. But in open hours, this is like 300,000.
Oh
You know
wow.
what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
why you can get volatile market movements in small cap stocks in after hours.
Okay.
People are buying them.
Thank you for
Something else,
filling that.
no, that's all right. You can go back to you can keep me off now. You can go back to doing what you're doing.
Well, we've only got 4 minutes left, so really it's just closing remarks. If anyone wants to drop any short comments in, but other than that, we'll start winding down. Thank you for joining the live stream. Most importantly, on the short notice.
That was a fast hour. That was.
I know that's flown over. Looks like GameStop have had the earnings.
I was going to say that. I forgot to say it. I was in the middle of it.
I'll share it quickly. So the beat earnings per share by 20%, but missed on revenue. Am I right in thinking? Obviously, it doesn't really matter, but have they bought up like a Bitcoin repository or something?
Yeah, they do something with Bitcoin. They put all their money that they earn into a Bitcoin holding facility or something. So they've got a load of Bitcoin now, but like you say, it don't really matter. And like I say, I think have you looked at Hive yet, John?
I haven't.
I think
you think it's worth a look? I need to have a look to it.
Yeah, it's worth looking into, especially with Bitcoin being down at the moment as well.
You
I'm
should
down
see,
by 14% on it at a minute, but I know once Bitcoin goes back to, I was buying it at 580 and it's 320 now, I think it is a share. So
you should see my list of stocks to look at from like TikTok live streams. It is crazy. I've also got a few from this server to look at.
Will said, "Can you get a bigger headset?" Why do you use a headset? Why don't you just use speakers instead?
Because then my mic will pick it up, I think.
No,
I always
Can
worry my mic will pick it up.
You're coming through my speakers quite loud. You can't hear.
Oh really?
It cancels itself out.
maybe I'll try that for the next one.
Yeah, like I say, it just cancels it out. I mean, you haven't heard an echo once, have you? So you just it's got if you click onto your settings on your mic before you come in, I think you can do it in here. If you press the settings, then go to audio. Yeah, you can do it. It says echo cancellation. You just tick it and reduce my background. If you click the little settings in the bottom corner.
I've got you out loud. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear. That's what I'm saying. I can't hear an echo.
All right. Okay. Amazing. I don't have to.
How stupid do you feel now?
I feel really. Do you know what it is? That means I wouldn't have even had to go off screen to get this little thing on.
That's what I'm saying. Look at that. Happy days. Yeah, don't pick it up, man. You just have to make sure you got that echo cancellation off. It's sick. That's why I like StreamYard, mate. It's good.
Yeah, I do like StreamYard. I'm going to finish the stream like this. I'm going to quickly show you my list of stocks I need to look at, though. This is on the left. This is from TikTok.
I'm going to get myself
TikTok
a Christmas
live streams alone. Like, highs on there.
Are these that people that I've told you to look at on TikTok?
Yeah, and some people have messaged me separately with like further information that it would be really hard to find elsewhere. So yeah, probably about 40 stocks there. I've got a few from the server I can probably strike off. Work discoveries. Don't invest in Motorola. Not financial advice, my opinion. Few growth stocks. There's Wrap on there. I took one look at Wrap and I was like, no.
Yeah, have a look at that one today because that's had some good movement today.
All right, okay.
9% today.
You know, I looked at the product because obviously I worked in the police, and I seen that video where the guy just like didn't even react, and I was like, nah, I can't invest in anything that's like that.
It's not one for me. I'm not a fan, but I hope people who are in it make some good money, man.
Yeah,
I never want to see anybody lose money. That's
there's my little baby as well, which I need to do more research in. Spotted that at the beginning of the year. But yeah, that's 10 o'clock. So Thank you for joining the live stream. Don't forget charity live stream coming up on Sunday, the 21st of December. You probably can't see my mouth. Oh, that looks even worse. I'm so unserious. I've had your life today, haven't I?
Yeah. So we'll go live on TikTok tomorrow or something if you want. We can jump on TikTok
Yeah,
tomorrow.
that sounds good. Talk
Yeah,
about the
so-
Fed cut. Will that be 2 o'clock tomorrow? Or is that before market opens?
7 tomorrow night. We'll get a result
is it
of that.
during the market?
Yeah, so we'll jump on probably about 8 or 9. We'll jump on my TikTok or something tomorrow if you want. And then we'll go.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I need to get myself to 1,000 followers so I can put my link back in my bio.
All right, yeah. How many are on?
It's done me dirty. But yeah, no, I appreciate having me on, man. And that hour's gone fast. It's good. Like I say, you're gonna have to start jumping on some more of them with us because it's good, man. It's good.
Yeah,
but no, thank you for having me.
It's all right. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for everyone that's watched. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Good night, all.